do this.
Oh, backwards. There we go.
All right. We're live. We got another batch of the float bowls, and so Kelsey and I are going through and inspecting them. And so we're going to be at the table for a while. If you guys have questions, fire them up, and we'll see if we can answer them for you. Okay. I'll probably set up an area over here real quick.
Okay. Smarter than the rack.
Okay. This one's missing the O-ring.
Okay.
Place that.
If you just put it in the bowl and then we can just and bring it back over here before I wrap them up, I can put an O-ring on it.
Okay. Okay. What do you want me to set the ones that pass?
Let me see. Just start setting them back this way. And then I'll start throwing some here.
Okay, this one's got O-rings in it.
Ooh, that was a terrible tape job. There we go.
So if you wonder what we're doing here, we're going through, because we had a couple of them that were missing an O-ring on the outside of the bowl screw. So we're going through making sure that the O-rings are all in there, and then I am doing a check with my pin gauges to make sure that the analogs are all drilled correctly. Not questioning JJ machine's ability, but I mean, these things are going out all over the place, and so I want to give them a one last look over and just make sure that everything is 100%.
Just, yeah, make sure.
Well, and I keep getting this question of whether or not the float bowls are going to work for methanol. And although I'm sure at some point along the way I'm going to test that, I really can't say right now. And, you know, the people that have known me for over the years know that I've been running methanol since '87. And so I'm a big methanol powered supporter, but this was specifically made for the gas guys, so people who need to tune quickly. So I'm not sure if these are gonna be, if they'll work on methanol, if they'll flow enough for methanol. Like I said, at some point I'll do testing to find out, but right now it's about taking care of everybody that's ordered them for the application it was designed for. This one's got a ring.
Okay. I'm just moving some of them out of my way.
Yeah. Just keep all the ones that haven't been opened on your side of the table.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the ones that you said you just throw up on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're going to be packaging, I'll just go ahead and unpackage those.
Well, I'll just keep track of what's going on, and if I got a second, I can help them. unwrap.
So this one's checked out.
us the story about your first three-wheeler and how you got into riding.
Oh, okay. So, on my very first three-wheeler actually was an ATC 90 that I had bought. It was, the engine didn't run, the forks were bent on it, and I put that all back together. Now there's an interesting story behind that. Anyway, I put that all back together and went and rode it a couple of times, and then so kind of my mentors in getting started in this was a guy by the name of Bill Farrell that owns Bill's Motorcycles Plus in Salem, Oregon. Shout out to Bill. And then Dave Hilton. And those guys had done a lot with like ATC 70s and 90s. They both worked for, at that time when I knew them, they worked at Salem Honda BMW. And they were like, oh man, you need to hop that thing up a little bit. And so I just started buying little parts for it, got a higher compression piston and a cam, and started putting it together and building it, and it got a lot faster than what I thought it would get. Of course, I didn't really know how much faster it was going to go, but I took it to the Honda shop one day to let the guys, take a look at it and everything, because I thought it was running really good, and they rode it and they're like, holy crap, man, this thing is really fast. It was fast enough, this is the honest to God truth, it was fast enough so that after riding it for maybe 4 or 5 hours hard riding it, there was kind of a box section in the back of the ATCs, and it started bending the chassis over towards the sprocket side. So my cure for that was to use a couple of come-alongs and straighten the thing back out, and then take a piece of 4x4 wood and just pound up into that center and then bolt through it, and that kept it pretty much from bending. But I rode that thing for probably a year until I threw the chain and it went through the cases, and I was like, at that time I already knew I was addicted to riding. I mean, it was in the back of my rig, and every day after work I would drive up into the mountains and go ride the trails. So the day after it broke, I went and bought my very first ATC. So everybody knows me for two-strokes, but my first ATC was an 85 ATC 350X. And I actually, being on the Oregon coast, you can get a lot of rust on chassis because of the salt water and stuff, especially if you ride down to the beach. So I actually did two different, changed out the chassis twice on that. And then on its last iteration, I basically built an all-chromoly four-wheeler chassis for it, which I still have all that stuff, and I still have that original 350X engine. Now that thing has been on methanol since the late 80s with great success. I mean, that's probably my favorite. That still is my favorite bike to take anywhere, because I know no matter what happens to any of my other bikes, my old 350X will still run. So that was my first bike and how I kind of got into it.
Somebody said, let me go back. Looks like you're ready to load the boat and go across international waters. Keep the amazing content coming. Also, have you ever done any parts for blasters or testing on them?
Yeah, blasters. If you go on our YouTube page, you can see there's a bunch of video of a blaster that I built. Now, I built quite a few blasters, but this one the guy wanted to go stupid on. So we did it all the way to 260 cc's. And if you watch it, it's in the video, it's running against one of my, not fully modified, but had quite a bit of modifications, a 450 TRX 450. And if you watch it, that blaster stays with that TRX 450 all the way through the run until the very top of the hill where the 450 noses it out. And so, yeah, I actually did a lot of work with blasters. Because people ask me all the time, well, why wouldn't you want to get back into building blasters? Because there's a freaking ton of them. And they're right, there's way more blasters than there are 250Rs. The problem that you run into is if you make that kind of horsepower on them, you end up breaking transmissions. And we broke the transmission on that 260 like 3 times, and then basically just gave up. So if we ever had stronger transmissions and clutches, yeah, you could make a blaster like ridiculously fast. Like I said, go on our YouTube channel and look at Blaster Racing 450, and you can see how fast that one was.
Okay, let's see. There was comments. What would you recommend a year 250R to get?
If it's going to be the 3-wheeler, get an 86. There was a bunch of improvements between 85 and 86. If it's going to be a 4-wheeler TRX, I mean, okay, so the best cylinder was the 87. It has a better design in its porting. The best overall bike, by far, is going to be the 88, 89. By the time they got to 88, Honda had figured out all the weight balance on it, as good as what an OEM manufacturer is going to. And I love 86s, but if you want like straight out of the box, the one that is going to be the best riding, the best power feel, the best of everything that Honda had to offer, 88, 89. Of course, finding a Cherry 89 is probably going to cost you a gazillion dollars. But yeah, 88, 89 are going to be the most desirable.
Let's see. What about a YZ250 motor for a hybrid build?
Yeah, the YZ250 motor is actually a great engine. It's if you look at it, there's more years of YZ250s that have gone unchanged engine-wise than I think there's any other modern two-stroke. I could be wrong about that, but there is so many of those. Here's the biggest problem with putting a motorcycle engine into an ATV chassis. And first big problem is the gear ratio that they set the transmissions up for in a motorcycle does not work that grand with something that weighs quite a bit more and has a lot bigger footprint on its tire. Remember, when you're on a motorcycle, at any given point you may have that much contact patch on the ground, where on an ATV you're going to have a lot more contact patch. And where that comes in to play is you're sitting on the line, you rev the motor up, and you drop the clutch. And this is why one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent of having an OEM flywheel over a lightweight flywheel. And there's a long history. I can go into a bunch of stories about this, but the biggest thing is you rev it up and drop the clutch, and if you have enough gearing so that you have the speed of all the rest of the bikes, then you don't have the rotation, you don't have the torque and rotational mass like you do with a larger flywheel to actually break the tire loose. The second problem is that if you put a non-counterbalanced engine into a chassis that was not built for it, meaning like Takati put they had non-counterbalanced engines, but they also had a lot thicker materials in their chassis. If you put the non-counterbalanced engine into a chassis that is of thinner wall, it's going to start breaking all over the place. And that's the problem that everybody runs into with them. That's like you see guys put CR500s into ATC or TRX chassis, and they're like, oh, it's breaking because of torque. No, it's breaking because the material is literally getting shaken apart. So that's why a counterbalancer in the engine in these chassis. Now, if you had a chassis that was built from the ground up, then you could eliminate that problem, but you would still have the internal gear ratio that is not exactly premium for a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a three-wheeler. Works better on a three-wheeler, and actually three-wheelers do better with vibrating motors than four-wheelers do. And there's a lot of discussion back and forth about why that is. But yeah, just it comes down to the fact that gear ratio doesn't work as optimal as it would like, and then just the vibration on the chassis.
Okay, there's another question. Why are you against making more than 100 Toygers? I think the market is massive for that, whether people use them in three-wheelers, four-wheelers, or dirt bikes.
Okay. Actually, I've been meaning to make a post about this, and so I guess now's as good a time as any. We are actually going to, sometime during 2026, we're going to release the Toyger to the open market, meaning anybody can buy one. Here's the thing, and if you've been in the industry as long as somebody like myself has, you will notice that there has been a lot of good product that has come out, and it has gotten a terrible reputation right off the bat by people who don't know anything about what they're doing when it comes to tuning an engine. And so they'll get a brand new platform and they can't make it work right, and then especially today they'll be online talking crap about it, and so you'll have a good product that could have done really well if educated people would have had it, but there's too many stupid people. All right? I'm sorry, that's just the way that it is. But there's too many people out there that will blame their inability to tune on the platform instead of taking responsibility for their inabilities. But here's the thing. We now have AMA championships. Everybody that has one loves it. They are extremely easy to tune. They're very robust, very reliable. The thing is, though, is we're going to sell them. I'm going to tell you, if you run all these parts, you can expect this performance. But if you run some jank-ass pipe from back in the 80s, or you don't use the right ignition curve, I mean, it's going to be like every other cylinder. If you don't run the stuff that works best with it, then the results are going to be whatever you get. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. But if you follow the recipe that I've designed for the thing, then you're going to get something that's going to run amazing. So yeah, the Toygers are going to be made available. I actually, after we won the AMA championship in cross country here in the state of Texas, I'm like, okay, well, we've proved everything that we want to prove. So that 293 Toyger won against the 450 class, the Pro 450 class. And is it the fastest thing out there? No. And keep that in mind too, is that it's still 293 cc's. It's not a 380. It's not a 431. It is the one thing that I want to do before I release them is I'm going up to CP Industries. I want to lower the port heights a little bit on it to give builders. Basically, I'm going to put some material back into it to give builders the ability to go in and shape the porting the way that they would like. Because if you make something too optimized, then it doesn't give anybody any room to be like, oh, well, I would have done it a little bit differently like this. So I'm going to add in a little bit to the ports. That way it gives them the ability to work on it. Actually, Arlen and I have already talked about this. As soon as the new ones come off, I'm going to go ahead and send them to him. And Arlen because I mean Arlen's a trusted builder, so he'll probably come up with a pipe and a combination that works really good for him. You know, so I want to give the builders and the guys that want to put a tool inside of it and do some work on it, I want to leave some material so that it works better for those guys. You know, if you build something that's absolutely perfect, you alienate the aftermarket community, and I don't want to do that. There's so few of us left that we need all the help we can get. So yeah, there will be way more than 100 of them.
Let's see. I'm stuck in Kodiak, Alaska. No access to race fuel. I got Bustane 91 is all I can get on island. I've heard too many bad things about running LL 100.
Oh, the old 100 LL discussion. All right, so let's keep this in mind. Before there was race fuel, all we had was aviation fuel. People think that race fuel has been around since forever, but it really hasn't. Now, I know this is going to be like kicking the hornet's nest, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have run thousands and thousands of gallons of 100 LL, okay? And the biggest thing is there are certain oils that it absolutely will not emulsify with. Absolutely 100%. There's nothing you can do to get those oils to emulsify with, okay? Other than that, though, aviation fuel is the most strictly controlled fuel that exists. The FAA keeps a very close track on all of that kind of stuff, because it's not like if your plane engine dies, you can just pull it off to the side of the road and wait for help, okay? I know professional snowmobile, here's the thing, is anytime the aviation fuel question comes up, there's a lot of people that I know who have run it successfully for years, thousands of them, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to face the ridicule. But you guys know me. I could literally give an F less about being ridiculed for something that I know 100% works. The entire Team DMR, entirely, all the Toigers, all run 100 LL. Every one of them. And we win races. And if people that actually run it would just step up and say, yeah, you know, it's like coming out of the closet. It's like the gay fuel, okay?
Oh my gosh, I don't think you're supposed to say that on the internet.
Whatever. So you're coming out of the closet about your fuel, right? And then you find out that everybody was using it. So and there's a lot of myths. I actually did write a paper years ago on fuel types, but there's a lot of myths about the fuel. Like I said, the biggest problem is it will not mix with some of the two-stroke oils that are out there. Find the ones that work. I mean, it mixes perfectly with L111, 100%. So, yeah. People can say what they want about it. It's never let me down, not once.
Let's see. Somebody asked, can you give info about factory Suzuki IT500 Quadzilla, pros, cons, modifications, etc.?
There are people way more. I mean, I built a lot of LT500s, but there are people way more confident on the
IT.
what?
Never mind. I said IT.
Oh, the IT500.
I'm not awake, so probably LT500.
Well, the LT500 would be the only thing that I could answer to. And here's the, I can share with you my findings with LT500s is that if you're going to build them in any amount, there's like the bearing bores, the main bearing bores will beat out them really quick. There's a lot of little nuancy things about them. So like one guy that I can suggest to you, and he does LT stuff all the time, is Todd Wicks, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, he builds that stuff all the time. So, you know, it's better. Here's the thing. So I built a lot of stuff, but I am very much passionate about the 250R. The other thing that I worked more on than 250Rs would be Banshees. Don't hate me, but I worked on thousands of Banshees. But the 250R is basically what I've settled into. It's what I started out with, and so it's just kind of coming full circle. Find somebody who successfully does the stuff and does all parts of it. What you want in the industry is a person that you can send your stuff to, and everything that's going to be done is going to be done in their shop. Okay? They're not going to get it and send pieces and parts to a bunch of different builders and basically be like, oh, well, I got this and it's all together, you know, and they didn't actually put it all together. They don't know everything about it. Find somebody who is a one-stop shop. Send your stuff to them. Arlen did a freaking ton of LT500s back in the day. So Arlen would be really good. Todd's really good. Jerry Hall is extremely good on LT500s. I think he actually worked, I don't want to say that, I don't know, I think he worked for the factory or worked for the teams or something. He's very good on LT500s. So, LT500 was a pretty neat package. We used to take them out of the LT500 chassis and put them into LT250 chassis, and they were a ballistic because they were so much lighter. But yeah, I've built a couple of them we've drag raced, and they're really fast. They just require some work on the inside to make sure that they last and they're reliable for you. Nobody wants to spend a whole bunch of money on something only to have it, you know, break right off the bat. That's absolutely no fun.
That was another question that I
Walk through the maze.
Yeah, having a chicken coop size shop sucks.
Okay, so okay, breaking in a fresh motor. How would you recommend for a new builder to go about following the manufacturer's instructions with premix?
Well, I don't know about manufacturer's instructions because I haven't built anything new two-stroke-ish, you know, any of the new two-strokes. There's actually a couple of videos on our page, and I think Rachel has grouped them together on the...
I think they're in the VIP group.
Okay. But I think that she was grouping them together for the YouTube channel too. I'll have to look and see, but I know this goes against a lot of the norms, but I do a very gentle break-in on on the pistons, and it's almost exactly like if you look at the back of the bottle of an L111 that has or actually no, it's the break-in oil. I guess it's just called break-in oil. That has a good break-in procedure, but I'll start the bike up. I'll just run through this for you really quick. I'll start it up on the break-in oil and let it idle for 30 seconds, and then I'll shut it down. And let it cool off for a couple of minutes, and then fire it back up again, and then let it run for about 30 seconds, and then shut it down. And then I'll go to a couple of 1-minute intervals, and then to a couple of 5-minute intervals. And then when I get to the 10-minute intervals, after I get done with those, then what I'll do is I'll start, like what you would do, I'll ride them. I call it riding it on the dyno. So basically I put it into 4th gear and just kind of accelerate it up and let it come down, and not pushing it real hard, just up and down, or you just kind of easily ride it around. And I like to put a gallon worth of break-in oil through them before I start actually asking the engine for, some top RPM and to push it. And then once I do get to the point where I feel like the piston and everything, and I know the rings have already seated, what I'm looking to do is get the piston broke in. Now, here's the thing. Pistons are built at a taper, and if you run a piston for just a little bit, 10, 20 minutes, and you pull it back out, you will notice that the piston the skirt has actually started to collapse a little bit. And of course, we set the clearance based on the bottom of the skirt. Now, with good oil, and we haven't, here's the thing, I have not damaged a piston in so long. I mean, we haven't burned up anything since you've been here. Well, we haven't burned up anything in forever. So with good break-in oil and then good running oil, which we use the L111, and yes, we do mix it at 24:1 on the L111. I have a story about that I could tell you guys. It might embarrass one of the riders, but it's a good story.
Well, just not name said rider.
Just not put out any names.
I'll call them out.
Yeah, but yeah, it's break-in is one of those things where a lot of people are like, oh, fire it up and break it in like you're gonna run it. Okay, so back in the day, back in the 80s, I knew guys that did that, and they were rebuilding their stuff all the time, and an easy break-in left me where I wasn't replacing my pistons all the time and seeing excessive bore wear. So I like to do, like I said, look up the video on the page or in the YouTube, and I go through it actually on the dyno and show you struggle busing over there, are you?
No.
I go through the procedure of how I do the break-in, but I do an easy break-in. I know a lot of people do a lot harder break-ins, and I mean, I can't discount what other builders do. If they have success, if they're successful with their break-ins, then you'll find that there's more than one way to skin the cat in any industry. It's just I have a flavor that I build my engines to, and that flavor works out. So far, we've only had one that needed an O-ring in it. Okay, that one's good.
There was a question on here. It says, what does a set of your carb setups for a Quadzilla? I'm not 100%.
Now, what
does a set of your carb setups for a Quadzilla?
What is a set of your cards? Who said that?
Oh, hold on. Dallas James.
Dallas James. Can you kind of rephrase the question about the carb setup, as I don't exactly understand what you're asking?
No.
Oh, two. I was going to tell you guys, I talked to McQuinn last night, and originally I had only ordered 100 of these from him because the pre-sale thing, there was like, what, 80-some people
like that, yeah.
that had ordered, and so I figured, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and get 20 more. It happens like this a lot. You'll bring out a new product, and everybody's super excited about it, everybody wants it, but when it actually comes time to buy, then you find out that your sales numbers are way less than what you hoped for. But anyway, so I was talking to him, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, we've already sold the full 100, and so we zeroed out the website, and he's like, well, I went ahead and made like another 100 for you. So we've got the website back opened up to order these things. So yeah, you can get them. Thank you, McQuinn Hair, for having faith in the product. I think that once a bunch of people get these and they start using them and finding out how easy it makes it to tune stuff, that of course sales is really going to ramp up. A lot of times people are like, they'll see something and it's like, oh man, that's the neatest thing ever, and then it comes out where you can actually buy it. But a lot of people will hang back and see what, basically watch somebody else jump into the river to see if there's any dangers or if the water's too cold. And then when they see them out there swimming around having fun, then they'll jump in too, meaning that the sales will ramp up on this. Of course, the American economy isn't the greatest thing right now, so I understand that, and it is Christmas time. But hey, ladies, what more would your husband want than a brand new, shiny float bowl? Okay? I mean, this is like candy to people who ride bikes, okay? I was going to say cocaine, and that might as much as it costs. It probably costs more than cocaine. Look, we're totally going to get banned from Facebook for having all these references. You guys might have to look us up on Rumble or something if we get blocked off here.
Let me go back. Somebody said, I feel like, oh, where'd it go? I feel like Kelsey is great at wrapping Christmas presents, plus she's wearing a Banshee hoodie in your shop.
Well, I don't really have a comment to that. I am not actually great at wrapping presents, to be completely honest. But then again, that's probably also my OCD talking. So, as far as the Banshee hoodie, we're not going to talk about that.
Where'd you get that from?
You?
Oh.
You had gotten it like forever ago, and then finally gave it to me.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Well-
Redo Banshee is awesome, so no. It's cold, okay?
Yeah, I think it's. And somebody in the comments is gonna be like, "Oh, well, what the hell turned the heat on?" Look around, people. You've walked through this shop with me a gazillion times. Yeah, it's a whole 47 degrees in here right now. But you know what? It builds characters, and I raised her not to be a snowflake, but a flamethrower. Okay, no snowflake, be a flamethrower. My granddaughter hates me. My 14-year-old granddaughter hates me over that too, because I'm always like, don't be a snowflake, be a flamethrower.
Well,
Somebody said, dude, if I got that for Christmas, I'd be the happiest person. Oh, well. Mine will be here on Tuesday. I'm going to put it on a KX500. I'll let you know how it fits after I polish it first.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I know that there's people out there that have bought them for, and the only thing we fit them for is for the 250R. And there are people who have bought them for CRs, and then what was the guy's name that bought it for 500 KX500?
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers in the 21st century. Okay. 20 points if you recognize that piece of trivia. Anyway, I'm hoping that they fit on a bunch of different models. I mean, I obviously I build stuff for the 250Rs. I mean, because that's the end of the industry that I work in. But I mean, if it works in other applications, I mean, that's awesome.
It's a bonus for us.
Yeah, it's a bonus for us because we get to sell more of them, but it's a bonus for you guys because, I mean, it's, dude, I cannot tell you how much, dude. Hey, dudes, I cannot tell you how nice it is. Like, and this is, so I don't get to ride a lot. We should put sad music in here. I need to build myself a bike this year.
I'm playing the finger fiddle for you.
Yeah. But being on the dyno and being able to quickly change jetting while, I mean, I can change both the main and the pilot in under a minute, okay? So that gives me the ability to make changes on the fly without getting fuel all over the place. I mean, just for that, and we've had a couple of builders order them up just for that purpose right there. You know, to be able to tune on the dyno. Now, there's, you know, and of course there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, and I'm okay with that because I don't like them either. But somebody was like saying the other day ago, oh, well, that was never designed to be used in the real world. It's only used on the dyno, and then you have to put your regular float bowl back on. What the hell are you thinking? These are we're using them live in the field. That was, I mean, obviously I started it out with an idea for the dyno, but I mean, it freaking works in the real world. So, yeah, that is absolutely not the truth.
Mike Honcho. I think it says, I need to come see you, buddy. Been a while.
Yeah, like, how many years?
No.
I mean, like, a freaking long time.
Did you decide against telling the story about the rider?
Oh. Okay, you guys want to hear an inside a good story?
Oh wait, I think I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really want to throw him underneath the bus.
Well, you don't have to say his name. Just tell the story.
Oh, but I gotta say his name if I'm gonna tell the story, because he's gonna know it. He's gonna be like, he'll be like one of two things. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that about me, or oh my God, I can't believe you didn't give me any credit. You know, there's no winning with him.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, the fact of the matter is it shows the resilience of the Toyger too.
Yeah, and okay. So you want to hear this? You want to hear the story about the Toyger? So now I'm gonna say there's a couple of reasons why this happened like it happened. Number one, anybody that owns a Toyger notices that they run extremely cool. For as much horsepower as they make, they do not make a lot of heat. Okay? Now, the reason for that is that the Toyger is actually built inside the same housing, the same casting that the Puma is. So it has a massive amount of cooling. Also, the Toyger, because it has an extremely, because it's a much smaller bore in a big engine, it has a lot of stability on the cylinder walls. So you don't take one apart and you see a bunch of streaking in them, okay? So anyway, after every race, Jared Hunt, who is my racer who won the AMA championship, he will bring his Toyger up, drop it off the shop for a couple of days, and we basically just look at it. And the reason why, and I don't have everybody do that, but the reason why I have him do that is because Jared rides the absolute crap out of everything. He has broken his, Jared's a former 4-stroke pro rider, and I mean, he has torn all of his pro 4-strokes up, okay? Just, I mean, like, take the radiator cap off and drive another bike underneath of it, because that's about all that's left. So this was two events ago, because we race every month.
I feel like it was longer though, but
Is
regardless.
it two events or 3 events?
Something like that.
Okay, anyway, so he comes and picks it up. Well, I had it on the dyno because I wanted to try out some new things. You know, I'm always looking for some more horsepower on everything. So I told him, I said, man, I said, this thing actually, I bumped it up about 3 horsepower. You know, you're going to have to see if it still has, you know, the kind of ride feeling that you really like. So he's like, well, probably what I'll do, I've got, you know, a couple of weeks before the next race, is I'll just go down and do some, go to the motocross track, right? And so he goes to the motocross track and he calls me afterwards and he's like, oh my God, dude, yeah, he goes, this thing is freaking, it just pulls so much better. And I know people are like, 3 horsepower, that's not a lot, but on something that small, that actually is. I always tell everybody the difference between 2 horsepower on a bike that weighs that much is the difference. You know, it's something that you can actually feel. It's not that you just guess that it's making more power. So, anyways, he calls me and he's like, "Yeah, it ran absolutely perfect. I think I'm going to take it out next weekend and do some more racing on it. You know." At the motocross track, because they practice there they can practice there every weekend. And so he calls me after that one. He goes, oh yeah, it runs amazing. So he goes out, he wins the next cross country race, he brings the engine up and he goes like this, he goes, so before you open it up, I've got to tell you about something that happened when I took it out the first time. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, there's probably going to be quite a bit of damage in it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? You said that the thing was running perfect. Oh, no, it's running really good. I mean, it didn't miss a beat. And I was like, okay, so what happened? He's like, well, and he's like around the bush on the whole thing, you know. And I'm like, just tell me what happened. He goes, well, that first time when I took it out, I did 4 hot laps on it, you know, went out, warmed it up, did 4 hot laps on it. And then when I was pulling back into the pits, I looked and thought to myself, oh, I didn't put up my coolant. Oh, crap. I didn't put any coolant in it. That thing had 0 coolant in it, and he went out and ran. He did his warm-ups and then did 4 hot laps on it and came back and didn't seize the motor up. And so I'm like, what did you do? And he goes, well, I poured coolant in it and fired it back up because it seemed like it was running good. And I'm like, well, then you took it out the next weekend. Yeah, how'd it run? It ran perfect. Well, you just won the race. Yeah, but I mean, there's no way that it can't be damaged. This is the honest God truth. We pulled the top end off. There wasn't a single scuff. Nothing. Not a single scuff on the thing. I put the top end back on it and said, run it. He's still running that. Zero scuffage. Now, I think that a lot of that is due to, number 1, the stability of the cylinder, and number 2, the fact that L111 at 24-1, you take the motors apart after you've run them, and they are they're slick inside. Okay, the pistons, everything. And like I said, we don't have any problem making horsepower off of it. I'm a horsepower junkie, so I'm going to go wherever I can make horsepower. Whatever makes horsepower for me is what I'm going to use. Number 2 is going to be reliability. So, back when I was in Oregon, we would always go take the bikes out to the dunes because that was only about an hour and a half drive for me, and I cannot tell you how many times I would send an engine home with a customer. They would put it in their bike. We would ride the trail from the parking lot out to the dunes, which is about 1,000 feet. I'd get to the outlet on it and look back, and there's nobody. I'd drive back, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, the bike it just died, and I can't get it to kick over." And we take it back, and they would have put no coolant in the engine. So, and I mean, this happened so many times that I just told people, I was like, okay, from now on, if you're going to put it in, I'm going to pull the drain plug on it and make sure that it's got coolant in it before we ride it, because you're not going to blame me for burning your engine up because you didn't put coolant in the thing, you know? Not saying that always happened, but I mean, it was always like, well, I don't know why it burned up. Well, it burned up because you didn't put any freaking coolant in it. So, if we can run 4 laps on this engine and not burn it down with no coolant in it, and this was on a day that was 100 degrees, I don't know what to say. I mean, the thing is, like I said, though, they've been absolutely bulletproof. Now, people will call bullshit on this story, but, I mean, Jared, now the cat's out of the bag, he can always come in and say, no, it really did happen. So, there, that's...
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
That's the
Still
story.
don't recommend doing that.
Yeah, I absolutely do not recommend you doing that with your Toyger, 100%. But, if you should happen to blow a water line, like I would say, if I would tell the guys, hey, if you had a water line that got blown or something, or tore off the bike in cross country, and you were mid lap, I'd drive the thing all the way. I'd race it all the way through to the end, and then or back to the pits, and then fix it. I wouldn't take the bike after seeing how that worked. I wouldn't take the bike offline just because I'd lost all the water.
RB Moto said that's actually insane. Your Toygers are amazing.
Well, the Toyger is like, for me, the Toyger is like that thing that you, as a builder, you always dream of building something that just, at the very least, it fixes all the problems that you have with everything else. And, I mean, my only goal for the Toyger when I built it was to build a very powerful under 300cc engine, because that's always been kind of my favorite displacement. The 293, 72, so square. But it definitely has turned out to be pretty amazing.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I've got.
Missing something?
Well, this is a bowl gasket that must have fallen. Oh my gosh, dude. That's got a bowl gasket. That's got a bowl gasket. Bowl gasket.
Do I need to open some stuff back up?
Do you have them in order? Like as...
Yeah, like this is the last one, and yeah. Want me to pull out a few of them?
Well, we're gonna need to, because somewhere along the way when I was moving,
See, I could probably.
when I was moving these from here over,
Yeah.
the bowl gasket dropped out.
Haha. Grab a.
Okay, so you're looking for,
Yeah, I know.
it's gonna be missing the big gasket inside of
Do
it.
you have a blade over there?
Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah, these all have bowl gaskets in them.
Okay, let's see how I can do this without.
You're talking about the ones that are kind of wrapped in the baggie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the baggie.
That one is good.
all have bowl gaskets.
I'm assuming it would have happened recently.
Well,
Like it never happened. Here.
I don't think some of these are going to peel off as easy. What we may have to do is
Well, I
just,
can reprint them if I need to.
or just razor blade right through that line, because you've got it right on the edge, and then just
Well, I
put
got
tape
this one
back
just
over it.
fine.
Okay.
Well, I can keep going through these if you wanna.
Well, I'd like to find that before I go any farther.
Yeah. I was gonna say you could go through. There was a few more comments, and I can do these all come apart and go back together the same way.
Yeah, that's definitely. Let me make sure. I'm struggle busing right now.
Not me this time.
Yeah, that is bull gasket.
Okay.
Alright, well these have all been checked, and they all have.
I don't have to go through all of them.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know when it hit the floor. I'm making extra work for Kelsey because she doesn't work hard enough.
Gotta earn that paycheck.
Yeah, need to get Rachel over here so she can play foreman. Which I'm not saying that's funny. Rachel is actually a good foreman. She's the slave driver of my two daughters.
Alright.
We said, I'm very confident and will fit a 500. I also plan on keeping it on the bike. It is a hill climb build with a brand new built motor where I will be tuning it is miles away from my truck. This will make it so much easier.
Yeah, well that is definitely the design. What I designed it for is just, I mean, I've said this for a long time. You get a bike, especially when I go to the dunes, there's so many people that want me to, you imagine you show up at the dunes as a builder tuner, and people are like, hey, take my bike for a ride and see if it's running good, And so over the 40 years that I've done this, I couldn't tell you how many bikes that I have ridden. The number would be, I don't know, thousands. And there's a lot of times where I'd be like, it'd be neat to just change a jet right then and there because you're out on the dunes. But, you see guys, and I've seen them do it before in the past, they'll freaking take their carburetor loose and pull it off, and the sand is blowing, and, you can see sand getting in the intake, and it's just like, man, jetting it, to get it closer to being perfect is great, but at what cost to the engine? So the float bowl, being able to pull the side off of it quickly and change the jets, it doesn't completely eliminate the chance of getting sand inside of it, but it's a lot easier to see if you got sand inside of that than it is to pull the whole bowl off and wonder, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen somebody pull the bowl off and lose the pin that retains the floats, drop it in the sand, and now we're getting towed back. So,
Well, not only that, it eliminates the amount of tools that you have to carry around with you.
yeah, exactly.
Or lowers the amount of tools you have to carry around with you.
Now here's the thing too, and I don't like, we did a video about this last week, I think it was last week, and what I'm interested in hearing from you guys is, and now I'm not the only person that has said this. The other people that have tested them out have said the same thing, so I'm interested in hearing from the people that are getting them. But the improvement in low-end power and the improvement in not fuel economy, but just basically overall performance on the thing. If you have it and you put it on and you start out with and like I'm telling everybody, just start with the jets that were in there and then tune from there. But after you get it dialed in, maybe go back and switch back to your OEM bowl and tell me, sometimes it's hard to feel an increase, it's easier to feel a decrease in a system. So after you run it for a while and you're like, man, that's running really good, put your other one back on and tell me if there is a decrease in performance. Because that is what we're seeing. It's not like, I'm not saying these things make magical horsepower, but they are doing something.
Dave got all the goodies from Colby Fox.
Oh,
The
Colby.
troublemaker.
The troublemaker. Colby and Shane Fox. Couple of customers out in Oregon.
Oregon.
Or not, sorry, California. Sorry. Said bad words.
Well, I don't know. California is a pretty bad word.
Yeah, they live in Northern California. Like Southern Oregon, Northern California is still not as affected by the stupidity of the West Coast, but they've got some stuff that I built for them. Nice guys.
Yeah.
I had to say it. We're live. I have to say that. Hey guys.
Rachel's a slave driver. I'm the hater.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Part of me kind of just wants to.
What?
I was going to say I was going to check the very first ones that I did, but if I do the very first ones that I did, I have to open up 2 boxes because I got 2. The first 2 were an order of 2. I'm all of a sudden feeling very sick. I think you're going to have to finish this on your own.
Well, it's like this. If you were sending a spaceship into outer space and you got done and you looked down on the floor and there was
some screws on the ground.
Yeah, or an O-ring. I mean, you think about it. So here, not to be all doom and gloom, but what killed all the astronauts in the shuttle was a bad O-ring. A 3-cent part cost 7 people their lives and dropped oh God, I don't even remember how much it cost to build those things. I think it was like $500 million or something. I don't know, somebody can check and see online. But it was because of bad O-rings, and so obviously not having a bowl gasket is going to be an inconvenience, but I hate screwing up, so I'm looking down now a lot.
So old age getting to you. Alright, I gotta bring up the columns.
Now watch, we're going to go through all of them and not a single one of them is going to be missing.
Well, if anybody's missing an O-ring,
Yeah, if you get yours and you're missing a bowl gasket, now you can always pull the one out of your OEM bowl and stick into it. And we're actually using Viton O-rings on them because guess what? It appears that all of those bowl gaskets right now are made in our friend China. And we can't, trying to get them from people in the amounts that we need, is just not a thing. So we found a Viton, actually McQuinn found a Viton O-ring that you can buy through McMastercard. You can get it on Amazon. So all the O-rings inside of the float bowls are common Parker size O-rings. And somebody asked me the other day ago what the sizes were. I'll put up a post on that. So that'll just set on the page so people can see it. But yeah, you won't need to reach back to us to get O-rings because we use, and I try to do that in everything that I build. I try to use commonly available parts that I know that are going to need to be replaced. What?
found it.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was on the label that I have to reprint because USPS auto corrected or something. So somehow I knew that might be the case.
It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle.
No O-rings left behind.
Yeah, no O-rings left behind. Remember, be a flamethrower, not a snowflake. Somebody needs to make that as a shirt. I would say as a bumper sticker, but then I'm dating myself because nobody does bumper stickers anymore.
I mean, not necessarily. Some people do.
I gotta run into the house for a second, so I'm gonna leave you with the audience.
Oh no! It's gonna get real quiet. I got nothing to say.
Find a question and answer it.
Well, I don't think there are any. Just come up with a bunch of questions so I can bombard him with questions when he gets back. Come on. We've gotten quite a few comments asking where you can buy these. These are all available on our website, buydmr.com. So if you're looking for them, that's where they are. No, don't want to subscribe to my own page. Why is it not? There we go. Someone one said, on the Dumont-Tech break-in oil, after the break-in period, the plug looks much cleaner than the normal oil. Harder to read the plug, at least for me.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. People ask me all the time, how do I read plugs? And I know this is going to hurt some feelings. I never read plugs, ever. To me, there is too much, and I've read some papers that have written by some tuners that have done this at a much higher level than me too, and they're like, reading plugs is more pseudoscience than it is anything that's concrete, because there's too many things that can change the way that a plug color looks, especially in a two-stroke. So reading plug color for me is never a thing. I do not jet at all by the plug color. I jet 100%. Well, when it's on the dyno, I jet by the AFR, and that's not as good as jetting by seat. So for me, and I know this, I hate to tell this to people because they're like, well, you know, I don't have that ability, or I can't do that, or whatever, but I literally ride the bike around and feel how it's running. And I know that's not a good answer, because it sounds more pseudoscience than anything else at all, but I am my best data recorder, okay? And so for me, I don't try to ride, I don't try to jet by plug color. But you're right, both the break-in oil and the L111, if you were going to try and read off the plugs, you're going to need to get somebody who knows something more than I do about reading it with that type of oil, because it doesn't carbon stuff up like other oils do. I swear to God, and I'll take it apart after this race this weekend, but Zach Brissett has been on L111 on his Toyger since the very beginning of that bike, and we have yet to have to repack the silencer. I took it apart, a video, it was probably a year ago?
Oh, it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, I took it apart and showed that the packing did not need any sort of replacement, and of course I think it's been a year ago. So we'll pull it apart again when we get back from this event and just show you guys what it looks like, you know. But it's one of those things where I don't see the carbon on the head. I don't see carbon on the piston. Matter of fact, I've got... Hang on. Let me see if I can find that piston that came out of... That was Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
Grab a brand new piston. Where did we put the pistons at, Kels?
The new pistons?
Yeah, they're it's up here.
Yeah,
it's up here. We moved it. Okay. I actually got a couple of them. Okay, so this is a brand new piston, straight out of the box. I've actually already put the rings on it. We had a problem with some of the rings on the pistons not fitting the ringlands. They would fit tight, and so now when we get them, we put all the ringlands. Of course, I let Wiseco know that, and so we haven't got any of the new ones we haven't had any problems with. So anyway, that's a brand new piston, and this piston here has seen, what, this was 2 years of racing? So, I mean, obviously it's got oil on it, but there's no carbon buildup. The heads look the exact same way. We're just not seeing the kind of carbon buildup that we would see on other types of oils. So I noticed somebody had put up, actually in the comments the other day ago, they had put up that they had sent L111 out to be oil tested. And that's great, but oil testing is normally to see what kind of deposits have been left from an engine. What you need is a gas mass spectrometer to be able to tell what it is. And listen, it's frustrating for me too, the fact that the MSDS sheet for the L111 is, I don't even know how it exists as an MSDS sheet. It doesn't contain any of the information that tells you what kind of chemicals are in it. I know that stuff needs to be, you know, people like to keep their stuff, their secrets to themselves, but I don't like having something on the other, you know, I like having something on the other side of the equation. If something works, I'd like to know why it works. I do, though, have a friend that is a chemistry professor, and she does have a gas mass spectrometer, and said that she would sneak in a sample for me one time and run it and see what the actual chemical compound is on the thing. I just haven't gotten her one yet. It's, you know, there's all these different things that I could chase in the industry trying to figure out why things work, why this does this, but honestly, at the end of the day, there's so many hours in the day, and although it looks like we're just always having fun here, we are actually we're a working shop. I mean, Rachel's handling all the website stuff and the business stuff, which is something I absolutely hate, is the business side of the thing. I'd much rather just be building stuff in the shop. And we're just trying to, you know, keep things moving through here as quick as possible so that when you guys order stuff, you get it. I don't like having to tell somebody, hey, I'm a half a year out, but I mean, right now we're more than a half a year out with any sort of big projects.
Somebody commented a while back ago when you were talking about the... Anyways, he said the Challenger 96 cost $1.5 billion. Today, that's about $3.5 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then somebody said, have you ever used the Gunson Color Tune?
Gunson Color Tune. No. Gunson Color... Let me... Well, my phone's doing the live stream thing. See how much battery we've got left. I might have to get a...
Charger?
Yeah, put the charger on it.
A diagnostic tool that uses a special glass-topped spark plug to let you see the color of the combustion flame inside an engine cylinder.
Oh, that sounds
allowing
cool.
for accurate air-fuel mixture adjustments.
I wonder...
Says
look up
blue...
images. Okay.
Well, you learn something new every day.
But put it on my Christmas list.
See, it's on. They have it on Amazon. Yeah, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll be honest, I've never seen anything like that before, but I'm going to order one.
Why does it keep doing that? Howard Grant, I need one of those.
Howard Grant needs one of what?
Well, if you're talking about the float bowls, you can get them off the website.
Yeah, Howard.
Oh, I think Rachel responded to him.
Yeah, that to me, the being able to see down into the combustion, that's freaking cool. What I'll do is I'll set up a high-speed camera over the top of it on the dyno, and then when I make a pass, I can go back. I think the fastest we've got is 240 frames a second.
Yeah.
Is the fastest we can record. But then be able to go back and look and see. I mean, I'd love a glass freaking head or a cylinder. That'd be cool. I've seen people do them out of plexi, They
Well,
don't
we just
last.
need to get a hold of Elon and get some of that.
Oh, you need transparent aluminum is what we need.
Aluminum.
You know, that would be freaking awesome. Can you imagine a transparent aluminum engine? The whole thing. Cases, side covers, cylinder, head.
All right, who wants to fund that project?
Yeah, transparent aluminum. It's not just on Star Trek. They call it Avalon. Actually, they make bulletproof windows out of it. They make windows for the International Space Station out of this stuff. We need to get them to sponsor us.
Yeah, right.
Right. somebody from the company is going to be like, "What in the hell is that guy talking about?"
Oh my gosh. Trying to read the comments and it keeps doing wonky stuff. Have you ever broke ground on the new shop yet?
Oh, so the new shop. What we're going to do. So the thing is with the economy, and I don't mind telling you guys this. With the economy, the industry has slowed down quite a bit. Our main thing, obviously, is building engines. Okay, and we're not getting engines. We're not getting cases as quick as what we used to, because Mike's got other things that he builds that are actually way more profitable than building the cases. That's something you guys got to know, because I mean, I've talked to McQuinn and his dad about this, because they've got a big, beautiful machine shop. And McQuinn's dad said, I don't even know how Mike makes any money at making the cases. The amount of work that it goes into building those things. One of the things was that I told him when we started the project years ago was it has to be affordable for people. We can't price it so high that nobody can afford it. So obviously there's other things that are being done, and we're kind of transitioning away from doing some engine work right now into building parts. And I've got all those chassis that need to be welded up. So anyway, long story short, I don't want to overextend our finances into moving into the new shop or building a whole brand new shop. But there's a covered area that's attached to this shop on the other side of that wall over there. And we've just used it basically as a storage area, and like the sandblasters are out there. But what we're going to go ahead and do, Shane Coates is going to come, one of my really good customers, and then my next door neighbor, Kyle, has all the dirt working equipment and everything. We're going to go ahead and put a concrete floor in that thing, and then finish off, we have to put 2 walls on it and a door, and then a door between the 2 shops, and that's going to be where we're going to expand to right now. I mean, it's you know, I talked to the other builders and everything, and like I said, the economy isn't that grand. Remember, we are literally in the adult toy industry and not the real fun part of it. And so when money starts getting tight for people, historically, this kind of stuff it goes back burner. And so with the economy not doing really good, industry-wide, it doesn't make any sense right now to throw a bunch of money into something. We need more room. That's my biggest complaint right now, is just not having enough room to be able to move. Or I mean, it's like right now we're doing this job, and as you can see, it's pretty crowded. You know, anybody that's walked through the shop with me on video knows that this thing it's like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bucket. Okay, so we'll expand out that direction. But I mean, obviously I want to build the new shop, and we had a bunch of people that volunteered to help to build the thing. But it's going to be, right now, I just don't want to put the money out on that, and see what happens. Hopefully over the next 6 months, things will start to roll back around again. Normally when it comes down closer into the wintertime, people start to pull the emergency brake on doing projects and stuff. And we've got projects that easily go all the way through next year. But it's having the engine builds is or not having as many engine builds is definitely it. You know, I've been doing this for 40 years, and when I see something slowing down, I'm going to be the first one to grab a handful of emergency brake and try not to get us into a situation where we're overextended on stuff. That being said, Kelsey and I were talking about this, and Rachel, what we might be doing, and you'll hear it here first, what we might be doing is actually taking in a bunch of case repair stuff. There's always people that are hitting this up. Yeah, OEM case repairs. When I built my CNC mill, the main reason why I built it, and the reason why I built it the way that it is, was I wanted to be able to have something that once I got done welding up the cases, I could put it onto the fixture, put it into the CNC mill, and have it go through and very precisely fix all the areas. So that may become a thing. We're just looking it over, but you know, like I said, right now we've got a bunch of work that we are doing, and so if you want to help us out, honestly, the best thing you can do right now is just support us by buying the stuff that we sell. If you need something from Mod Quad, remember we're a dealer for Mod Quad, so we can help you out with that stuff. CP Industries, we're a dealer for them for all of their Honda cylinders. So, you know, if you need that kind of stuff.
We've got the V-Force reeds.
Yeah, we've got V-Force reeds. We've got Wiseco pistons. So we do have the ability to sell stuff to you, and we make a little bit of money on it. And then like board jobs and that kind of stuff, we actually cut down the pricing on what we charge for board jobs, because if you buy the piston from us, we make a little bit of money on that. And I realize that people aren't made out of money these days, okay? And everybody, for the big majority of people that ride bikes are just guys that want to go out and have a little bit of fun on the weekend. They look forward to it. I know I always did when I got to ride all the time, which is why I need to build myself another bike. Because it's kind of that, you know, you work hard all week long and you just thinking to yourself, man, I just want to get out on that bike and have a good time and go riding. It's not, you know, historically the ATV industry has not been the big money industry that people think that it is. You know, outsiders look at it and they're like, "Oh man, you must make $1 million in this."
Yeah.
Well, look at the condition of most of the shops. I mean, Arlen's now doing things where he's walking around in his shop too. And I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, we could definitely use with, you know, more area, but it's with the economy the way that it is, you know, you got to be cautious about what's going to happen." So that's why we haven't done anything with the new shop, although we are going to be going in the other direction just to get us some more inside working areas so that we can spread things out. One of the biggest problems is when you don't have enough storage space to put things, things get lost. And then you spend an exorbitant amount of time looking for something, a part that you ordered for a customer or a part that a customer sent in, and then you're looking for it because you're going to work on it, and it's been moved 3 or 4 times, and yeah, so we need more space in that.
Another service that we're offering, which has been commonly asked since we did the float bowls, was the carb modification.
Yeah, carb modifications for taking the air strikers and rebelling them, defin them, rebel them, and taper bore them. So if you've got one, that's a way to breathe a lot of new life into the carburetor.
See what else there is.
Would you re-sleeve a crank-it cylinder? I've got a restoration build I'm doing of a TT bike that is in process, and I'd love to have the original cylinder on that build.
Didn't we re-sleeve the crank-it cylinder for Howard?
Yes.
Yes.
This is a
So
crank
we just actually did re-sleeve a crank-it cylinder. I gotta say too, the work inside of that cylinder, and I've seen them before, but it's been years and years and years. I think people forget about crank-it, but that was some really good work. The tool control inside of that thing, super nice. So yeah, we'll do re-sleeving. That's another person that we deal with is LA Sleeve. So we're dealers with LA Sleeve too. So yes, we can re-sleeve your crank-it cylinder.
Everybody just gets to enjoy the sound silence for a little while.
Yeah. By the way, thanks for all the questions. They've actually been some really good questions, and I like to, Kelsey and I and Rachel had talked about just like putting up cameras throughout the entire shop where you could see us work all day long, but that's like children, instead of playing with toys, watching other children play with toys. So, and I want you guys to go out and play with your bikes. So, better than vicariously living through watching us screw crap up all the time. I mean, build good stuff.
Dad just likes to talk a lot. Okay. I need a drink of water. That's what I need. Well, I'm quiet now.
What time is it?
It is 10:15, which means I need to go let Fathead out. Oh my gosh, that's so irritating. Well, if we don't get any more questions soon, we can cut the live.
Okay. Let's see if it shows.
I'm not showing any more questions online.
Okay, well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're going to go ahead and cut the live feed, finish this up, what we've got going on, and we'll be back to see you later.
The guy with the crank-it cylinder, Curtis, he said, is it It's coming your way then. Do I just ship it or do I need to schedule it?
Basically just send a...
Yeah, just send us a message through the Facebook page. And then we can, go over details, shipping address.
Yeah, first thing that I'll need to do. So the last time when we did that last crank-it cylinder, as you can imagine, Wiseco doesn't make too many standard size pistons anymore for 250Rs.
Yeah.
And so it took them how long to get us a piston?
It took about 3 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks to get a piston. So we'll have to contact them. I know that LA Sleeve keeps the sleeves in. Well, I say that, but maybe I should check with them too. But yeah, just send a message to the Facebook page, and then we'll get a hold of both Wiseco and LA Sleeve and make sure. Let me know too. Is yours a early model cylinder or a late model cylinder? So is it an 85, 86 or 87, 80, 89? So bridge intake or oval round intake. And then I'll check with LA Sleeve and see if they've got it in stock and see if the piston is in stock too. Because that was the big thing. We could have turned that around in a couple of days, but it was one of those deals where it was waiting and waiting and waiting for parts to get here.
Alright, well, if we're out of questions, I'm going to cut the live so we can finish this, all the packaging stuff up. So I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we're going to cut it.
You got that razor blade? I can just grab
right
it.
here.
Okay, thank you.
What's it doing? Okay. There's literally a little spider hanging down right next to the camera. Okay.
Why not pod and open exhaust straight pipe? Why expansion and all the new tech?
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question. That probably came from somebody that speaks a different language than...
No. Hold on. Like it. Oh my gosh, my phone keeps doing wonky stuff. Dale, stop. Could you expand on the question a little bit?
Yes, I'm not exactly sure I understand the question. Did the other guy ever come back and expand on his?
Curtis, can you tell us if you have a early or late model
Cylinder.
Maybe I should go grab. I'm going to go grab a couple of cylinders so I can show you what to look for. I'll be right back. Okay, early model cylinder, 8586. You can see the intake side of it. Look at the intake port. 87, 88, 89 is going to be the bridged intake. Also, Honda, if it still has an OEM sleeve, Honda was nice enough to put in the casting that says 85 and HA2, so three-wheeler, 1985. If it still has the OEM sleeve and if there's enough left of it for you to be able to see.
Okay, Dale Scott came back with the airboxes are specific designs. The exhaust headers have chambers now. Wouldn't straight in and out be most flow you could get?
Okay, so here's the thing. The question sounds, and I'm not trying to belittle you, but it sounds like you don't understand, like, the two-stroke, how a two-stroke pipe works. A two-stroke pipe is basically like a kinetic supercharger. It takes the exhaust pulse wave, helps to extract the already burned fuel, and then take the fuel that is escaped and tuck it back into the cylinder before the exhaust port closes. So a two-stroke pipe is, and has been for, oh my gosh, since the 60s, has been, I think it was the late 60s, has been like quintessential. When it comes to airboxes, airboxes, well, like most of the drag racing stuff, they try to keep the intake track as short as possible. And so when we talk about airboxes, like the airbox that I designed, I'm looking for something that has enough filtration so that it's not going to get plugged up during a race where there's a lot of dirt in the air, and have like no noticeable effect on CFM when you're running it on the flow bench. So I don't want it to create any restriction against the thing. I'm looking for as much air as I can get in the back of the carburetor. But when it comes to the exhaust, then yeah, 100%. Pipes are like, and here's the thing, although pipe design has a mathematical formula, good pipe builders are like Merlin the magician. They have a certain feel about it, and they know how to get the pipes to make good horsepower, because if you just put a straight pipe on a two-stroke, it's pretty bland. There's really nothing there. Straight piping, even straight piping four strokes isn't as good as having a exhaust that is designed for it, because they work off of somewhat of an exhaust pulse too. So yeah, the two-stroke definitely needs the pipe designs to tailor the engine's power and make more power. And then when it comes to airboxes, the main reason why we run airbox in like cross country and motocross and stuff is because we need the engines to last as long as they can. Because to finish first, you first must finish.
Curtis with the crank-it cylinder said, I believe it's an early, but I'll have to get it off the shelf and get a look at it. Get a look at it. It was one that Joe Bird, B-Y-R-D, ran years ago.
Oh, Joe Bird, okay.
Yeah, and was a national motor.
Then it's probably, if it's that era, it probably is an early model cylinder. So, well, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and call LA Sleeve and see if they've got both early and late model sleeves in stock, and then have Rachel call
Wiseco.
Yeah, and find out if they've got standard size pistons for both. both the short rod and the long rod piston.
Excuse me. Hold on. I'm putting these ones aside because I'm pulling aside. I'm trying to make sure. Just doing my count real quick. You can grab those.
Okay. I'm gonna slide this into the table then.
Alright. Let's see if there's any more questions and then I'm gonna cut it.
Okay.
The 66.5 millimeter piston for the ATC is out of stock right now, says Rachel.
66.5.
Yes.
We need a 66.
Okay. Rachel, check the 66 then. Oh, Sam Moore is asking, hold on, I think his comment was like way further up. Did we ever post the video of the dyno numbers for the 380 versus the 400 links?
400. No, I don't think I did, but we can. Yeah, remind me, and I will do a video of the difference between the 4 mil and the stock links. Actually, we've got 2 of those coming up. We have both a 4 mil and a stock stroke that need to be broke in. So.
Stock links. Okay, just double checking I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see this one. Somebody said, I'd like to apply for the DMR Sun position. LOL. Thanks for being so honest and helpful in the hobby, Dave.
I already have 2 sons, which people have asked me this before. Well, why, if you have sons, why aren't you sons involved in the business? Well, because one of them is a trauma nurse, and the other one is the lead CAD designer for one of the biggest home building companies on the West Coast. So, yeah, I could get her for pretty much cheap or free, So, my daughters work a lot better if I just feed them some peanuts, they're good to go. But my sons, no, they make too much money. Actually, my youngest son, we've talked about him coming, once we get to the point where we have more CNC machines, with him coming to work for us and then just handle all the CAD drafting and everything. So, and fortunately, Kelsey and her little brother get along really well. So.
Well, he doesn't seem to think so, but.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to think so, but.
Okay, so this was a question from a while back, and I was going to ask you, and I forgot. Somebody said, well, it was not really a question, but I have a TRX 250R. It's kind of bulgy. When you're riding it, the first 2 gears, it won't go very good until... Oh, wait. It'll only finally open up in a higher gear. Then it's kind of buggy. Okay. But the crazy thing is, when I get ready to put it away, I turn the gas off and it comes to a point where it runs real strong. When I hit the gas, runs perfect, then it cuts off because it runs out of gas. But if I run it like that all the time, she would be nasty.
Okay, so if because you've actually done some discovery on the reason why. So a couple of things can be. Number one, your float level can be set too high, which can be actually dumping some fuel into it. But normally when you shut the bike off, if you don't shut the fuel off, then it'll come out the overflows. But when a bike runs better as it's running, so it goes from running crappy to running really good as it's running out of fuel, it's because obviously it's leaning itself out. So I would take a look at both my Pilot and my main jet and see what they are. When a bike is crapping out and won't run clean, it's obviously on the rich side. And so if you start walking it down on one of the jets, you know, and for it to do what it's doing right here, it could be that it has too rich of a pilot in it. But I would definitely start jetting it down one at a time and see if as you're coming down, it's getting better. Now you don't want to come down, if you come down like, let's say I came down from a 175 down to a 160 and it's still running exactly the same, then I'm not going to be looking at jetting anymore, because at that big of a change, I should notice a difference. Especially when the thing is, I think what he meant was boggy. But yeah, it's running rich. From your description, that's what it sounds like. It's running rich. And or it could be the fact that you have extremely weak ignition system, but the thing that's easiest for you to check and to analyze is going to be the jetting. And I would start by coming down a little bit on each one of them. He didn't say what kind of carburetor he had. Okay. If you have an OEM carburetor on it, you have the worst tuning carburetor ever made. I mean, the only thing that those things did any good is we gutted them out and turned them into alcohol carburetors for Banshees, is what we did. Yeah, repurposed them for methanol for Banshees, but it was an absolutely terrible carburetor. So if you have an OEM carburetor, anybody out there with an OEM carburetor, if you've got it dialed in, leave it alone. If you can't get it dialed in, get yourself a PWK, get Electron, anything other than that carburetor, because it had a terrible design concept.
All right. Rachel said 10 plus in stock for the early model 66 piston.
Okay.
And then, where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
So we have more than 10 on the stock size for 8586 in stock.
Okay, and then we got, see if I can pull it back up. What is faster, taller tires or smaller tires on the drag strip?
Anytime you can eliminate rotational mass and continue to still have traction, that's going to be a big plus. It takes a lot of energy for the engine to turn over a tall tire. Remember, one pound on a rotational center has a lot less drag than if I took that 1 pound and I moved it out 6 inches or 8 inches or 10 inches and then start to sling it around. That's moment of inertia is what it is. And you can look that up. That's what we need to know when we're setting up building dynos. But if you can get the traction and the clearance that you need for the type of riding that you want out of a smaller tire, the smaller tire is going to put less load against the engine. Now, a smaller tire though also has a smaller footprint once it's pressed up against the ground. So it's always a balancing act. That's why, like in sand drag racing, we'll run, like a 22, I'll say a 22 or 24, or like a 70-inch rollout. But we run them as super lightened tires, get that rotational mass off the axle and let the engine turn that into forward momentum. Because it's trying to accelerate the bike, not just the tires. So yes, tire weight, axle weight. There was actually Larry from Scat Track, who I was really good friends with. He was a general manager there forever. He was the first one that taught me about unsprung weight. So it's better to have 5 pounds of sprung weight. So let's say we add 5 pounds to a suspended bike. Now, if you're drag racing, you probably have a rigid, but it is better to have 5 pounds of suspended weight, so weight that's on anything above the shocks, than it is 1 pound of unsuspended weight. Okay? Anything that's on the suspension, anything tire weight, all of that stuff helps to create drag and unresponsiveness of the tires. Now, I did see a really interesting video this a couple of nights ago. They were talking about how the like the Baja 1000 trucks are built, the stadium trucks and everything, and they've actually come up with some different formulas that are working for them, which I found was really interesting. But for everything that I've built, both in drag racing and like stuff that we're gonna do high speed on the dunes, I'm going to keep the rotational mass of the rear tires, the axle, the rim, the hubs. The rim, the hubs, everything that's on the back of that. I'm going to keep it as light as possible, so that I don't have to spend time accelerating, waste energy accelerating a heavy package that's on the rotational side of the thing. So I hope that answers your question.
Doing pre-orders for the Banshee cards yet. No. We haven't even started on the manufacturing on those. Well, we're going to cut it for now, guys, and get these finished up, packaged up, and then anything else that was ordered will go out shortly.